I don't feel like the movie needed a big twist. I don't feel like we needed a gotcha moment or like the movie to try and outsmart the audience. It was one, it wasn't that type of story where there was anything super complex happening. It more takes you on a journey and you can see where you're going on this journey. You can see how things are progressing. It really ties into its transformation, how the movie's just taking you on a journey because it fills it with so much character and it focuses more on character as opposed to trying to outsmart you or trying to wow you with a bunch of like random spectacles. You really kind of like buy into, who these people are and it really gets you to care. And, this is why I feel like the movie seems to be so well regarded. And I feel like the reason that people many, many years later still feel for these movies is because of the character and the human element that these movies provide in them, as opposed to like a big spectacle that you can get in any type of movie. Like, who cares about the Avengers blowing up a bunch of, Chitauri armies? And I hate that we always go back to Marvel for some of these examples, but it's cool to watch at the time, but it's not why we're there. It's not why, certain characters went from like, C-listers or D-listers to being like the front and center of, who Marvel are, is because of the characters behind them. In certain movies, you do need the twist, you do need the plot twist, you do need to keep your audience guessing, things like murder mysteries or, your slashers, who done it, this and the other. You kind of need to keep your audience guessing. But it wasn't needed here. It was a nice journey. I was happy to be on the journey and it made me care about the characters enough.
Completely agree that the rewatch potential from this comes from the two characters. It's very small. There's the Brundle part of the story, which is basically just his lab. And then you've got the Ronnie story, which is kind of split between her apartment and the magazine, right? That she works for. That is very limited. The cast has 7 characters and some of them only appear in 1 or 2 scenes. This is completely held up by these two characters who kind of go on different but related journeys. And I think that is where the rewatch potential comes from. I think I rewatched it for the 5th time this weekend. And, when it starts out, it's a little bit, okay, I've seen this many times and I know the effects and they're cool and all. But then 10 minutes in, I'm kind of on board with Ronnie and Brundle, more Ronnie than anybody else. I think that is why that movie has staying potential, because you can only shock people with the creature effect once, right? And if you want people to rewatch it, then you have to make them care about the characters. And I think you're spot on about that.